Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Ratchet Christian. As always, I am super excited. I'm never not excited when we don't have guests. I'm always excited, even if I'm by myself. I'm excited because I love to talk and I love talking to people that I love talking to. So I have two people here that I really, really love talking to. And the very first one is an amazing comedian. She's not from Chicago like I thought, but she's actually from Detroit. Y'all give it up for Young Tender. Her name is Ashley, by the way. Yeah, period. Okay, and then our next guest for today is also so very special. I love her because she's from the DMV. She's hilarious. She's down to earth. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's smart. Y'all give it up for the very brilliant Shauna Monet. Woo!
Make some noise with my background singers. My background singers.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to the Ratchet Christian.
Thank you.
Why y'all get so quiet?
I don't want to talk over her, but thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you
for having us.
Thank you for coming. I remember when I first started the podcast, like, you had told me congratulations, and I was like, oh, I'm having you on. You know what I mean? And I feel like I do that a lot, and I feel like most people are like, yeah, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna have me on, but anybody that I tell that to, I really mean it. Like, I have episodes planned out like way far in advance in my head, not written down, but it's like if I generally like you in person, I'm gonna want to bring you on and talk to you. Right. So thank y'all for coming because I genuinely like y'all in person.
We like you too.
We like you too. Thank you. Nice. The fact that I need like that validation this early, it's can you tell I'm a comic, with a room full of other comics. You guys know what I need and you gave it to me. So I love this community. What was the first thing that I wanted to talk about? Okay, do y'all remember where we met? I think I met y'all at the same time on the same day.
Really?
Yes.
I think so. Wait, say the venue and I definitely will know.
Didn't we all meet at the Black Women in Comedy show that Gumbo threw with Chelsea?
Oh, I think that's where we all met?
That's where I remember meeting you two. I feel like my first time seeing you, Ashley, and you, Shauna, was at that event.
Did I perform there?
You did perform.
Yeah, we did with a
You both performed. Yeah.
I do remember that. Dang, I feel like okay. That was a minute.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. And that moment for me, like, changed my comedy forever because the first time I genuinely felt like I bombed because everybody was so funny. Oh, I was doing all these white rooms. I was killing them, the flappers. You know what I mean? I was up there at the Comedy Chateau in a room full of whites, killing. Yeah. And then I came to a comedy show that was all Black women, and I was the least funniest in the room. I felt like that. But also it was like my first all Black room. And as a comic, I feel like there's always this like notion that it's like Black rooms are the hardest. And so because it was my first all Black room, I felt like I bought a little bit into that. Mm-hmm. And I was just really intimidated. Okay. And it was the first lineup that I was on where everybody was just as funny, if not funnier. And it just made me feel like really small, but like in the best way possible. I was never the same comic after that show. Okay. Yeah.
You just wanted to be better, huh?
I just wanted to be better, yeah.
I'm trying to think because I don't remember anyone like bombing or doing bad that show. It was actually one of my earliest moments in comedy, and I remember it being one of like the best, like you said, because it was all of the women. We're all funny. We're all bringing the house down. So I don't know. Don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, I remember killing that motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but me.
No, I literally tore that bitch down that night.
Yeah, you
I
did.
remember how I felt. Like I was like, "Woo, that's crazy."
No, you did do that because I remember it too.
I'm not gonna lie either. That was one of my best nights, especially in a Black room because I've had those moments where I bombed in Black rooms. I was like, oh, I gotta step my game up because this is not gonna happen again.
Yeah,
and I made sure that moment, like I remember hearing in the crowd, even my peers saying, "Go, Shauna!" I said, "Yeah, I'm finna tear it. Just wait, there's more."
Yeah, so I had the opposite experience. I feel like, I don't feel like it wasn't like a bomb, boo, sardines, you know what I mean? Get out of here. Or tomatoes. Not sardines.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But like, I just felt like for the first time, like it wasn't obvious that I cleared. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I can be on a lineup, humbly and clear, but not in that room. And honestly, I'm very grateful for that moment because I feel like it really grew me up as a comedian. And It didn't happen. I don't want to say it didn't happen again, but it's like I decided, you know what? There's always these stereotypes about, Black people. Oh, it's the hardest room, is this and this and that. And I just decided, like, I'm not buying into that. Like, these are my people. This is my community. I'm going to be just as comfortable here as I am anywhere. And if anything, I want to be in more rooms where I'm not the funniest in the room, because that challenges me to be better.
Yeah.
And so it changed my mindset as a comedian, for real. And so, yeah, I remember y'all from that because it was traumatic for me.
I will never forget.
Yeah, I will never forget it. I text my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. I was like, "Do you want to go get a drink after the show?" He was like, "What happened?" And it was like midnight. He got out of bed. He drove to LA. We went to a hookah bar, and I like took a shot. I forgot my phone at the hookah lounge.
Wow,
they
man.
called my emergency contacts, all of them, and at 1 a.m. and it's
my
like
God.
3 a.m. It was a horrible night. It was a horrible night, guys.
Oh my God.
I went home with my tail tucked behind me, and I'm grateful. I'm glad it went that way, because obviously I left with knowing y'all and just a wealth of experience.
That's what's up.
Yeah. You two produce shows now. You do the backyard comedy battle, which I did and won. I did win that one. And then you started producing a show called Fix Your Face, which you recently had me on. Like, what made y'all start producing?
I'm gonna be honest. It was the fact that I had a team behind me, because there's like so much going on in my personal life. I've always wanted to do a show, and I've tried before with one other person. It just didn't end well. So, I've always wanted to do it. And my two friends who run a marketing company, Red Eye Creates, check them out. They have wonderful programs. But they came to me with this idea, and because I love and trust their vision, we just started collaborating and started doing shows together. They entrust me with picking the lineups, and they kind of handle the logistics of everything. And we ran into an issue in the first show. So technically the first show you were on is a second installment of something that we built like a couple of months back.
Ooh.
But yeah, like everything happens for a reason. And honestly, like I love comedy. I love putting my friends on, and I feel like a lot of like up and coming comedians don't get as many opportunities, especially in different rooms other than comedy clubs. So I kind of wanted to offer an experience for people to work out up and coming.
Yeah.
And it was an experience. Like, your show, the venue was beautiful.
Right,
The food
right.
was actually good. Like, the ambiance was there. You didn't press and harass your comedians and make it like a bringer. You were just like, yeah, come up. And then there was an actual audience there. I was like, oh, shit. This is nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. The time was good. I like a space where comedians are treated well. And I felt that with your show. And then you've been producing for a while. How did you get the concept for your comedy show? Because it's so unique.
Shoot. I had just kind of moved to California. I had a back house with a backyard, so I just utilized it. And I grew the grass from seed. I did everything really by hand. Like, the benches back there, I sanded the wood and got it cut, and I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. And it was really just to create a space for comedians like me, where it's hard to book. Because when you first start as a comedian, they want you to bring 10 people to a show.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crazy. Yeah.
And can we cuss on here?
Of course you can.
And it's like, bitch, I'm not bringing 10 people.
Right.
Like,
I don't know 10 people yet.
I'm not
out
even
here.
from here. Like,
Yeah.
90% of the comedians not from here, bitch. I don't have 10 friends.
Yeah, facts.
Like,
Facts.
Just got here.
Let alone 10 people that want to sit and hear me tell jokes.
Like,
for
come
an
on.
hour.
And how many times do you think these same 10 people supposed to come out? So it would just be
Exactly.
hard. So, it was just creating a space for comedians. And, my show is, it's fun because we get the battle rap on
Yeah.
there. And then recently, I'm trying something different at the shows that's real interesting. So, yeah, that's all. That's what it's about.
Your show was so fun, and I want you to know that I practiced.
Did you?
I did practice. I take things very seriously. You know what I
As you
mean?
should,
Like,
'cause
I
you're
take things seriously and personally. Like, I want to be good at the things that I do. Not good, actually. I want to be excellent.
Yeah.
And so that's just the mindset that I have. And so I was like, okay, I don't know how to rap. Like, musical stuff is not my giftings. So I went to an open mic, and these two dudes were like, they gave me a tip. They're like, just find one word that rhymes with a lot of stuff. And so I was like, hat, red. Don't use orange. You know what I mean? Because then you'll get stuck. And so,
And that's so crazy because you did say hat. And
yes.
And it was so terrible.
Yeah. It was great.
Because what I found out about my show, because you have to freestyle battle against somebody. You don't have to be about them. It's just having fun. What I found out about the show is that the worse you are, the better you are.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
yo.
Yeah, because like
You're
took it home.
lying.
yeah, because I've
Yeah.
seen people back there like really try to rap,
Like
they
battle
pop,
rap, like for real.
and it's like the audience be like, oh, okay.
Not
But when
bad.
somebody go up there and they terrible, like they be
Mhm.
laughing. It has to really not be.
If you go up there and you
Practice.
battle rap, it gives the feeling like you lost the plot. Like
Yeah.
you like you
No.
like you think this is 106 in Park. And that's not that. Like,
I'm
Right.
trying to think.
this is a comedy show.
So it's like, okay, you just battle rapping you and one other person.
Yeah,
Do you
so-
get topics?
No, so you get to go up there,
You
yeah.
just-
You get 15 to 30 seconds to freestyle battle rap against somebody, and each round is 3 like people, random people in the audience
Mhm.
each time, and they get to vote who they think had the best.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so them punchlines was eating
Yeah.
up.
Okay, I made a rap about Cat in the Hat. I remember it still to this
Yeah.
day.
No, you gotta spit something. Spit something.
I'll spit the exact rap that I spit there.
Remember it?
I'm focused. I never forgot. I remember my wins
my
and I
God.
remember my losses. I'm focused. I ain't even eat. I got shoes on. I got bad feet. Yeah, you won't see them. You don't want to meet them. something. But yeah, so that won me the first round. Second round,
Yeah.
it was something about Cat in the Hat.
Yes.
You got a hat. You in the back. You have a hat. He has a cat. He's in a hat.
Oh.
They went crazy.
I see the formula. I see the
I
formula.
came up there with a plan.
Okay.
And I took it home.
goodness.
Man.
I took it home. They were not thinking Malibu Barbie was going to come up there and win.
They was not.
I took
expecting
it.
that.
Yeah. I have great pride in that. Like, I won a fake microphone. I took
Yeah.
headshots with it.
Yeah.
Like, I take this stuff
Yeah,
personally.
it's a fake little microphone.
Yep.
It's a trophy. But now
Mhm.
what we doing this season is we put 2 microphones under the audience members' seats randomly.
Ooh.
And then, right before we close the show out, we let these 2 people battle. And then whoever win, they can come to a comedy show forever, wherever for free.
Stop.
Forever.
That's a really, really good idea. Y'all hear all this creativity in these shows? Y'all better go find them on Instagram and get a ticket to their shows because y'all shows are unique, they're fun, and it's different.
Yeah.
And you treat your comics well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do not have the gifting for producing shows. It's
No.
just not my thing. I don't love it. I produced a show last year and I had you on.
Yeah.
It was across the street from a funeral home.
Yeah.
There was a stripper pole in the venue.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then one of the comics told me there was a glory hole in the bathroom.
Wait a minute.
Girl.
Sick.
It was some guy who had hit me up like, hey, I'm trying to put a comedy show together. And he was like, can you produce it and book the lineup and do all the stuff? And so he had paid me to put it together. But I'm just like, I think people make it look easy.
Mhm.
Producers make putting together a show look easy. And then when you do it, you're like, oh no, actually, this is not easy at all. And that made me realize that it's like, I'm a performer.
Yeah.
I like to come and I like to leave. I don't like to facilitate the whole event and be in charge of it. I don't want to pressure my comics to bring people.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to my husband about this last night. Like, there's a really small part of me that's like, I don't like having to be in a position to make sure people show up to things
Mhm.
because there's like that little kid in me that feels like people aren't going to come.
Mm.
And I just don't like feeling like that. I
Yeah.
don't like feeling like, oh my God, what if nobody comes?
That
You know
is,
what I mean?
that's definitely the feeling that you're going to have. You
I don't
cannot.
like it.
It's like that's what I mean. I feel like that now, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, really about LA is you just have to find a way to appeal to people and really offer them something because it's
Yeah.
like most of these motherfuckers, you got to drive far.
Mhm.
So
And find
what are you gonna
parking.
give me when I get there besides a laugh? Like,
Yeah.
you offering something like at my show, we do happy hour the first hour, or we give away drinks for the first hour,
Mhm.
or, even being able to get a ticket get something that say you could come forever for
Yeah.
free. Just offering, man, I literally go talk to everybody that come, like
Mhm.
introduce myself,
Mhm.
and ask them what they need, and I'm bringing it to them personally, and
Wow.
I'm just going the extra step,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
they want to come back.
Well, that's how you know you're built for it. You just see all the little intricate details and stuff that you think of, really taking care of not just your comics, but the people out in the audience. Like, it's work. There's a million and
Yeah.
one things to do in LA, and it's like, why do people want to come sit and hear you tell jokes for this amount of time? You have to make it compelling. And I just don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm producing a show tomorrow.
I was about to say.
I'm producing a show tomorrow. And it's
yeah.
I got, talked into doing it, but it's like a mic I can do because it's like the commitment is low enough for me that it's like I want to give comics a space where they can like, practice their material without the pressure of like putting together a whole production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why do you think? I feel like creating a mic is harder than producing a show.
Really?
Yes.
What in what way?
Because for me, I don't like mics. So it's like,
well, that's why I'm like, you don't like mics.
It's like, why am I honest? I'm gonna just be honest. Why am I coming up here to tell jokes in front of y'all? Y'all don't care what I'm saying. Y'all gonna give me sympathy laughs. You just there to tell your stuff. You are better off hanging out, trying to go to somebody's show, getting on a show, or just being at home running your shit over back to back. Because for me, creating a mic is like, it's a waste of time. Like unless we just hanging out.
Well,
what do you think?
Okay, it's because I've experienced bad mics and really good mics. Like the mics that are really good offer like a safe space and sometimes feedback. And I don't think everybody's in need of feedback, but I think it
does can handle
help.
it.
Or can handle it. But some people like they like take it in and they actually do well with it. So I think there's certain spaces that, I think are fun. And if you have a good team behind you, and specifically thinking about the lit mic that, I work on it, but before I was a part of that team, I was going frequently and it was always like a good place to work out my jokes. And now Meg Sosa, who runs and is the CEO of Lit, she curated such a vibe that not only do you do your jokes and they have a show at the top, at the end they have karaoke.
Oh,
so like it's kind of a
that's that
networking
thing you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's not just
she makes it so it's not just you working on your jokes, but you're networking as well. Because she has her connects and she also knows people who are up and coming.
Right. So that's great. Because when I first came here and was doing mics, I was see motherfuckers come in, tell their set, jump off the stage, and go run to the next place.
Yeah.
And I would see him at the next place, but I'm like, he just getting off his jokes and like,
not wanting to talk, not wanting to socialize, just on to the next.
Right.
There are certain mics that have like rules about that where it's like you have to stay for the whole hour.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that with my mic yet. For me, I wanted to start a mic because I'm like, I moved down here to Long Beach. And I feel like there aren't that many like places to go up, and I don't want to have to drive to LA every time that I want to go up. Like I also don't want to be down here losing skill. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm like, well, if I have this need, maybe other comics do too. And I want to build a community. I feel like a mic gives you an opportunity to do that versus a show. You know what I mean? I want a place where comics can come and, see the same person every Thursday or whatever it might be. And it might not turn into that because, LA is just so incredibly transient. People are moving and going to different parts of their life. But I'm like, let me at least try. Okay. And so we're starting off with the show first because that's what the venue wants. But I made it very clear to them that it's like, like producing is not my thing. I can host and I want to go up and I just, want a space for people to just come tell jokes, even if it is your first time and you're using it to build your confidence or whatever it might be. Like, I like that type of stuff. Okay. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, big congrats on that.
Yeah. Thank you. I thought about it and it's what I wanted to do when I got down here. So I'm glad it's like coming together. Okay. I love like just making something happen, like taking something from out of your head and like being able to see it like manifest in real life. Sorry, I think that's like the best thing. Okay. But speaking about like comedy, right? And the advent of AI. Are you guys paying attention to what's going on with AI? Like, does that type of stuff like interest you at all?
It interests me, yeah. It's just amazing, honestly. Yeah.
For me, I remember like being in college and like majoring in sociology and being embarrassed to tell people that I was a sociology major because everybody was like accounting or, everybody was like something just way more impressive than sociology. And I feel like anytime I told somebody that I was a sociology major, they'd be like, oh, so what do you plan on doing with that?
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm like, but I'll figure it out. I've just always been someone who like follows my interest. If something interests me, I'm going to go down that path. And so to now, be on the other side of college and to have gotten my degree and realizing that the jobs, the people who had the very cool jobs, the accounting and all the things, the doctors, lawyers, all that stuff, now their job might be in jeopardy of being replaced. You know what I mean? But being somebody who works with people, being hands-on with like social services and stuff, and then also being a comedian, like out of all the jobs in entertainment that I think AI might take,
Mhm.
I don't feel like comedy is one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like our job might be safe. But let's hear a little bit more about that. Solomon, can you play the first clip for us?
Sure. What jobs are going to be impacted and what do they do?
I think if your job is as routine as it comes, your job is gone in the next couple of years. So meaning in those jobs, for example, quality assurance jobs, data entry jobs, you're sitting in front of a computer and you're supposed to click and type things in a certain order. Operator and those technologies are coming on the market really quickly, and those are going to displace a lot of labor.
Accountants, lawyers. I mean, I've just pulled a ligament in my foot, and they did an MRI scan, and I had to wait a couple of days for someone to look at the MRI scan and tell me what it meant. I'm guessing that's gone.
So, all the impressive, cool jobs that everybody in society wanted, seem like they might be a jeopardy of being replaced by robots. But how does it feel having job security as a comedian? Did you ever regret having this as like a job choice? Or are there times where you're ever like, I'm wasting my time? I need to, give this up. Or if I don't make it by a certain point, like what keeps you being a comedian?
Just the fun of it.
Mm.
Literally just the fun of it.
Mhm.
Because it don't pay really.
No.
Not here, of course, because it's so saturated.
Mhm.
I mean, it's crazy. Comedians really don't even expect anything,
Mhm.
which is, that's crazy. But yeah, just the fun of it. It keep me going. And do I think? What did you have another question?
No, I'm kind of making it up as I go. But
Oh.
Shauna.
Honestly, like I love it, but I also knew this was my calling because no lie to you, when I was 19, I was dating this guy, my high school boyfriend, and I remember first year into college, end of the first semester, I was back home from finals. He pulled up to my house, broke up with me,
Mm-mm.
but the thing he said to me stuck with me forever. As you can see, he was like, "Shauna, I realized I never loved you. The only thing you ever did was make me laugh." So I just knew.
Oh
that
my
this is exactly what I'm
gosh.
supposed to be doing. Okay, and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
That's real.
That's a crazy
shout
thing
out to him.
I'm
That's
like,
the homie.
that's a crazy thing to say to somebody, but it put you on the right path.
Amen to that.
Now look at you, huh?
Look at me.
Now look at you. All the job security in the word. I'm sure a robot is going to take his job very soon, wherever he is, whoever he is.
No need. It's fine.
I'm a little bit more vengeful. There's need. There's need. I still need more Jesus in my life.
Amen.
But yeah, for me, like with comedy, I do love it. I had like a comedy mentor tell me like there's no money to be made in LA. LA is where you like sharpen your material because you're going up with the best of the best of the best. Like comedy is the one like, genre where it's like you're in the swimming tank with like all the big sharks. You can get bumped off a show because Chappelle is coming that night. It's the only job like that. It's not like, you're doing background work and, you get, an opportunity to take the leads line, but let a headliner not show up and you be at the right place at the right time and somebody knows that you can do 15, 20 and now your life has changed forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like that part of the job. But as somebody who can like work clean, I have found that there's a lot of money in being able to work clean. Like I feel like, my comedy can be controversial and then I talk about race, politics, and religion. I do my best not to cuss in my comedy. And so because of that, I can do church stuff. And it's like the church stuff pays. The stuff at venues pay. But it sometimes can be like, okay, do I want to compromise on what my voice is for money?
Yeah.
And so it's a very tight rope to walk in that. I don't want to present myself to be as this squeaky clean Christian comedian because I'm not. I'm just going to be myself in whatever room I'm in.
Yeah.
And I've just learned to like, okay, like I could say it this way and have cuss words, or I could figure out a different way to say it and be able to make money saying it,
Yeah.
Okay.
but still saying the same thing. Like I'll tell my stripper joke like at a club. And then if I tell it at church, I'll say, oh, I used to be a spicy dancer. They're grown. They know what a spicy dancer is. Same joke, but I just do something different with the language so that I can make money doing it.
Right.
Okay.
But then with comedy, I feel like you do have to supplement it with other things, not just podcasting, but building a show, producing, acting. Like you have to build a whole brand around yourself, but it is something that you can do and like make money. And it's nice to know that, okay, I don't think our field is threatened by robots just yet, like how actors might be because they're going to get their likeness, copied, or how writers might be because you type in like chat GBT, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, that was just like, okay, that's super, super cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good to see that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you all have any conspiracy theories that you like or believe in? Like, do you have a favorite conspiracy theory? I love conspiracy theories. I go down conspiracy theory like rabbit holes all the time. I believe like 99% of them because they turn
Really?
out being true.
What's your favorite one?
What's my favorite one?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked. Solomon, can you play the can you play the next clip that we have? This is my most recent favorite conspiracy theories.
This is crazy. A former Bush official claims that the United States spent $21 trillion building a secret underground city. Her name is Catherine Austin Fitts, and she formerly served as Bush's Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. He says that the United States government built this in secret in case of a near-extinction event for the rich and powerful. She claims that this isn't just some underground tunnel, but that this is a massive underground city across the United States with over 170 bases. She even says some are under the ocean and that they are all connected with transportation. She started researching this in 2020 and says that on her website, missingmoney.com. You can go and look at the actual government financials and make a decision whether or not this is true for yourself. Now, there have been theories about this for decades. So are we finally getting the proof? As always, let me know what you think about all of this. If you are interested, please bookmark this page and I will keep you updated so that you receive the first news.
Thoughts?
I always feel like stuff like that be so incomplete. Like,
No, because I'm stressed out. Like, so we're not gonna figure out why they would need a city to build in the first place. There's other questions that I have right now.
Ask me them. Because I feel like this makes like perfect sense to me. And maybe that's the problem. Like the way it makes like, I'm like, aha, I knew it.
it could be true, but it's like, okay, what did she find? Like, tell us. Like, I hate when people like tell us.
They're not allowed to, but then also, right?
Mhm.
Who would believe her? Okay, so this lady had like a 2-hour long interview on Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
And I did watch the whole thing. And she did used to work for Bush and all those things. And it's like, America is like 21 something odd trillion dollars in debt, right? Where did all the money go?
Mhm.
You know, and so the whole thing with like Doge, where it's like a lot of stuff has been untraceable, like they, do stuff and don't have to like, if you send 10 billion out of this account, he was like, there's no label on it. Nobody knows what happened to it. It can't be accounted for. Like every year the Pentagon does not pass like, all these audits and all this stuff. What she's basically saying is like for years and decades, they've been draining money out of the tax base to build these underground cities for a near extinction event, such as nuclear war. What are they pushing for right now? Nuclear war. And so basically it's like they're draining the life from the top and they're building a life in the bottom underneath of us, under our feet, because they know that something's coming that we don't know that's coming, whether it's natural, whether it's going to be man-made. They're preparing for something and they already... Solomon, can you put a picture of the Paradise guy? There's a show that came out recently on Hulu called Paradise. I don't know if
Okay,
y'all
I heard
have
about
watched it.
I haven't watched that.
And it's literally about that. It's about a near extinction event that happens at the White House or in America or in the world or whatever. And the elite had built this bunker since like the 70s.
Mhm.
And there's a whole underground city and all that stuff that they had prepared for when this happened. And if there's one thing I know about Hollywood is that there's a lot of predictive programming. They show you something that's going to happen before it happens to get you ready for it. They be putting stuff right in front of your face. And basically like, what y'all going to do about it? Yeah.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, that's very on time with this show that's coming out right now. And so to me, this is my favorite conspiracy theory right now because I 100% believe it.
But Asma, just like you just said, they don't have to hide nothing from us. They do it right in our face. They don't have to go underground. But also, if they did, it's like, what you gonna do about it? Because that's what I'm saying. Just tell us what you know. Because what we
She will die. Well, it will call it mass hysteria.
She
But
already told us that.
but people don't believe her. And so to her, right, okay, so she started speaking out about it. You know what they did? First of all, she lost her job in the government and they went after her. They threatened her whole family. They bankrupted her and then they ruined her reputation and said that she was crazy. What they do to every single whistleblower. They discredit them. They go after them with lawfare. And then if that doesn't work, they go after their family. And I know that because I sat through and I watched a 2-hour interview where she
Right.
talked about it.
Right.
Yeah, I know that happens, right? So it's like, what does she want us to do with that information?
Nothing. Ain't nothing we can do.
Wait, so that's what I was trying to get at because I was. So she wants to take these things that she knows and give them to who?
I mean, because
and for what?
why risk everything when literally we know that all the food is bad. We know that. I mean, it's a cancer sticker on everything.
You
So,
walk in the
like,
store and it's like there's cancer in here.
Yes, it's like they don't have to hide anything. She might as well tell us everything because they're gonna take everything from you.
Spill it.
And we're not gonna do anything either. So it's like just spill the beans. I just want to know the tea.
Yeah.
She spilled it. I'm gonna send y'all after this. The text that I have with the two of y'all, I'm gonna send y'all that whole 2-hour interview.
I watch it. I like
stuff like that too. I'll put it on the background. I'll clean the house, do like a whole bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
And so for me, it is kind of like it can be a little like disheartening where it's like people do come out with all this information. It's like, well, what can we do about it? They're already doing it. It's on such a massive scale that it's like you just feel like powerless. You know what I mean? And this is a project that of course they've been doing for decades and decades and decades. And so for me, what I can do about it is like, well, I have a podcast. I'm gonna do what all podcasters do. I'm gonna talk about it to raise awareness because for me, I'm like, you're not gonna catch me by surprise. Okay, I know where y'all going when the nuclear. I know where y'all are going when this nuclear war, may or may not happen. YouTube, I just got on here. I'm not saying that it will happen, but in the case of things, I'm just like nothing surprises me anymore. And my issue is I don't want to, it's not that I believe everything, but I don't put anything past anybody.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And we do need people like that because at the end of the day, who is going to let us know where the hiding spot is?
Right.
That's important.
Right.
Okay. You're going to find all of the secret hints in the shows.
Yes.
Like you said, in stories, match it
Y'all
all up.
call me.
Yeah.
You know who to
I'll
call.
have you on speed dial. Don't
It's
worry.
always your tinfoil hat friend that you need to have in your contacts when stuff like this goes down.
Amen to that.
And now you know that that's me. That is
Thank you.
me.
Because I didn't know anything about this. So
Really?
literally, as you were talking about, I was like, oh, how am I going to plan?
See? That's all you can do. When you know a little something, you can do something about it. Do y'all have any favorite conspiracy theories? Or that's like not your thing?
It's not my thing, but I love the Illuminati. Story.
That's a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's true now.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And I just wish they just stopped trying to hide it. Like, just
It's
say it's true.
It's true.
I want them to do it in our face. Like,
Yeah.
invite me to the party. Like,
That's
I
what
want to
I'm
see
saying.
what's going on.
I
Like,
want them to be like, I worship the devil and what you
I
gonna
want
do?
a real documentary.
Yeah.
I want a real.
Yeah.
I would sit down for that. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Because
So when you found out about Illuminati, did you ever go through that phase where you listened to all the music backwards and then you're like in high school? Like, did you ever listening to Umbrella backwards? I was like, oh my! First of all, I remember where I was when I first listened. It was on LimeWire listening, and the computer was like in my living room listening to that song backwards. And then you know what blew my mind when somebody said, "Say Lil Uzi Vert very fast."
you
Louis
stupid.
Louis Vert. Lucifer?
Yes.
See?
See,
And that's
see.
That was my reaction.
And
about,
then I'll get high and start getting on the internet looking this shit up. And I'm in the house by myself.
Yes. Not by yourself. Don't do it by yourself. But it's like,
See,
mm.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, that was the reaction I had after 3-6 Mafia for sure, because I didn't know.
Oh, they have come out and been like, yeah, we.
Oh, they have, but I was so naive. I was
What's
just
3-6 Mafia?
36
666?
Mafia 666. They have literally come out and been like, yeah, we worship the devil, and our whole goal was to get the black
black group?
community. Yes, it's 666 Mafia. Come on, Ashley, you got.
y'all, but y'all were never in church where they
these
showed you like this. I forgot the preacher's
Oh,
name.
you went to a lit church.
No, they
I
used
love
to
those types
get
of
at the
churches.
youth every day. Every week they'd be like something for the youth to ban in the household. No, I'm so serious. And they used to play this one pastor. I cannot think of the name, but his sermons used to be about the music industry. And one time he showed like a Bone Thugs and Harmonies like CD or cassette, can't remember, but you take it to the mirror
Not
and
a
it shows like
cassette.
a backward
Backwards, yeah.
incantation. And if you say it, it's essentially a spell.
Yep.
And I'd be like, well, can't listen to that anymore.
And they also have come out and said like, yeah,
Who,
you
Bone
know?
Thugs and Harmony?
Yes, they have. There's I forgot which one of them is saved now. I know Project Pat is saved. He was on a song with Lecrae recently or something like that. I had seen something like that, but some of them have come out and be like, yeah, like we were doing this stuff. But on the topic of that and conspiracy theories, I don't know if it was 3-6 Mafia or Bone Thugs and Harmony. One of them had came out and said like they had this big meeting with like the heads of like private security. and that they had a few rappers in this meeting with the heads of these people who were building jails, right? And so they were just like, look, we're doing 4 private prisons. We need you to make your music more violent so that you know what we doing here.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And so we want to cut you in on the deal. We want to show you what the big boys are doing. And they thought he was going to go for it. And he was just like, no. And he quit rapping.
Okay, I got a question, guys.
Tell me.
Because with these stories that we hear this, we see this, we dig deep, we feel it to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're here in California, Los Angeles. We're
Mhm.
going out every night.
Mm-hmm.
What are we trying to attain? Like, do you think when you get to that position that you're willing to somebody pull you in the back room and be like, hey, we can make you like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart if you do this? Do you think that you're like, honestly, do you think you'll be willing to take whatever they're offering you to get to where you want to go?
That's a really good question. Shauna?
I don't think I could. There's stuff that's like nobody's offering me anything now, and like bad things are happening, and I still don't. I don't even want to mess with nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. Like I seen the movies. Low key, I be scared for real.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I just wouldn't want my hand in anything. And if something happened to anybody I love because of a choice I made, that type of
sacrifice.
stuff eats me up.
But what if they say that you will just be doing bars and you'll be here. You won't reach the level that you want.
I won't believe you.
Won't.
I will literally speak that out of existence. I don't know. I just feel like I'd be like, I don't believe you.
Even though you know the power that these people have out here.
I feel like yes, I will believe they have
we are
the power.
out here in the center.
We here.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, y'all, I would be more scared to have to be under them and what that would look like. Because say I do everything right. At a drop of a dime, they could just decide they don't want me anymore. So regardless,
which they do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've seen that. You know, you take the deal, your life still is messed up. So I just rather.
What about you, Asma?
I would say that I'm glad that I didn't become successful younger.
Okay, yeah.
Like, had it been in my 20s when I was like a really broken young woman, like just very out there, you know, just looking for validation, looking for attention, wanting to be famous, like anything to make me feel good about myself and to make me feel like I was important. I feel like I can never say I wouldn't have been susceptible to that. I think it was God's grace that it's only that I'm getting older that I feel like I'm getting my footing and I'm more firm in who I am. So you can't offer me money to be anything else. And so I never want to be the type of person that would say I would never. Because there's people, it's like everybody has a price or a number, and not everybody takes it. But the devil knows what we like. You know what I mean? And he has people too.
Yeah.
And if God knows our desires, he does too. And so it's like there is a perfect scenario where it could be presented in front of you. And with us being in the entertainment, that's not far off for either one of us. You know, it's only a matter of time that, you know, our lives could change drastically, meeting one person or one opportunity, or even we just end up in the right room, or it just happens to be our time. It happens for people differently. But there are opportunities to take the shortcut here if you want them. And that's very, very real. It's not like, you know, you're working at a bank and HR is like, look, come on. But in our industry, there is that tap on the shoulder, like, look, you know, whether it's for me, and this is like a perfect segue to where it is that we're like, where I wanted to talk about next, about Trump and stuff. For me, I think that looked like for me, like not being truthful to my like real political opinions in order to get work. You know what I mean? Like when I came out publicly and decided to say that, you know, I'm more conservative leaning and that I voted for Trump, that was me kind of like, I had people tell me like, you're committing career suicide. Like you work in a very blue state, in a very blue industry. Like no one's going to want to work with you. Like people were telling me like, what are you doing? And so for me, that was the first time that was like, I'm putting a stake in the ground in that like, I don't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work with me. And I don't want to do anything that doesn't align with my beliefs. And so with that being said, let me go ahead and do my own stuff. You know what I mean? So that I'm not relying on somebody else to bring me opportunities. And so for me, my compromise probably wouldn't have been like $1 million and for me to like sell my soul and like unalive my mom. But it may have been like pretending to agree with stuff that I don't, pretending to be, you know, a Kamala lover when I'm not. You know, so it was very real in those small ways where it's like, well, I could go along to get along. I could be quiet and pretend to agree with everything because I want people to like me. But it's like I want to like myself more.
Yeah.
It's more important for me to be true to myself and to not just be in a room like nodding my head when I know I don't really agree.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me last year, I feel like I took that risk and like I'm gonna just be true to myself. I'm gonna be true to how I feel, and then the cards are gonna fall where they fall.
Mm.
And so I wanted to ask y'all, like when I kind of came out as like a public Trump supporter, how did y'all feel about that? Because I not the clearing of the throat. You cleared your throat because you and I have had like private conversation in my DMs because we're genuinely, I feel like we're friends. I'm like, I like you, and it's like I love being able to disagree with people that I like and that not change my opinion of them. And I honestly welcome that. It doesn't bother me for people to say like, I don't agree with you, I think you're wrong. It doesn't make me like anybody less because they don't agree with me. But I can't say that I've received that energy back.
Oh yeah.
But I also understand,
Yeah.
you know? And so for me, we're part of like a larger like community chat on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
It felt a little dry in there for me. It felt a little, you know, awkward in there for me. And so did y'all feel a way when you're like, this bitch, I just knew, I knew it.
I didn't feel a way. Like for me, I was really interested to get to know Trump a little different, you know, from the last term. I just wanted to know, what is he gonna do something different? I was thinking like maybe he gonna get in there and try to surprise niggas, like you
Not
know,
surprised.
like and do something, that, you know, like for real, like
No, yeah.
do some right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Like,
Like
I'm gonna shake it up. Y'all don't not.
I mean, he don't care. He's so forward. So I mean, I think we're not gonna like everything he does, but I think it might be some good in there somewhere, and it has to start. Like all that IRS shit he was talking about, like auditing them and closing that shit. Like close that shit down.
Yeah.
I don't even want to file my taxes. I'm waiting. Like nigga, you gonna cuss it down or not?
Right.
Like,
Now you was waiting. Like, I think he might actually do it.
things need to change.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and
agree.
we need to say things and paying taxes, all that shit. It's like no. So.
Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know, and then when I saw it, I said, "Oh, okay,
There you go.
interesting." But it's not like I don't know other people who have voted for Trump.
Mhm.
And I definitely think like there's no people aren't perfect.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily good or bad, but more so complex.
Mhm.
And I think I look at my own life, and this may be a selfish thing to say, but like I don't know, I just have a lot of grace for everyone.
Mhm.
So even if I don't agree with everything that you do, if I know you on a different level, then it's not going to be a conversation because I feel like at times we will talk about it, but it's not something that I will like disown you for.
Yeah.
Especially like knowing your stance and knowing like why. It's more so like, okay, I hear you. Like I said, don't agree, but I hear you.
Yeah. And I feel like honestly that's all we can ask of each other is just to be heard and to understand. I feel like at our big ages it doesn't have to be this thing of like you agree or you don't belong.
Right.
And I feel like a lot more people are kind of leaving that school of thought and we're all coming towards the middle instead of being on either extremes. And that's all I ever wanted, you know, is to just be able to be free about how I feel, be free about my opinions, because it's like I was like that when it came to COVID. I was outspoken about COVID. I'm unvaccinated now in 2025, unboosted, all of that. And that, yeah, not to brag, humble brag. But even that was hard. I was at Mike's making jokes about it at the height of COVID.
Oh my
and then
God.
I was just like, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't do that, you know? But it's like, that's just my personality. Yeah, I'm like, that's just who I am. And so to be able to feel comfortable to be who I am, like fully out loud and completely, it has done nothing but bless me. You know, it hasn't dried up my opportunities. If anything, I'm just, you know, creating a lane for myself, and I'm like grateful for that. And you really get to know who likes you for real and who was just waiting for an excuse not to like you. It's like you ain't really like me for real. You was looking for a reason and you found one.
Right.
Here you go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's been interesting. It's been interesting, and y'all have been great and mature, and you and I, again, like I said, we'll have conversations. We talked about RFK once. You let me know that he killed a bear. I was like, I didn't know that. I was like, I like RFK. You're like, what do you like about him? Do you know he killed a bear? I was like, no, I did not know that. But
you know, I think it is cool if he really want to ban all the stuff that's making
yeah,
us, like
In-N-Out recently announced that I think I saw it today. I didn't even take the time to read it, but they're like taking the food dyes and all that type of stuff. It's like, for me, that's genuinely what I was voting for. You know, like just some type of change. You trying to eat healthy. You're not making enough money. It's like something's like, got to give.
It'd be so funny because it's like, damn, if I go get a seeded watermelon, this bitch still got GMO in it.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought, like, I'm looking everywhere for a seeded watermelon today. Then I get there, I see the number sign 4032. I'm like, damn, it's still GMO.
You reading barcodes and everything. I mean, we are really, really out here trying. But it's like, go to McDonald's. If the fruit is processed, if it's in the food, it's in the water. I drink out of a plastic water bottle every day. I'm worried about the microplastics. I'm tired.
It's just like, kids, the people who want to be healthy, can we have that option? And then the motherfuckers who want to go to McDonald's and die and don't care, can they
let
have
them
that?
have that option too.
But damn, you won't. I'm like, America's so bold, bro.
Yeah, it's very, very bold. And it's like, for me, it's just run like, America is not and this is not an original thought. It's just something I heard out in the ether. It's like, America's not a country, it's a corporation.
Yeah.
And it's run like one. Like, it's a business and we are employees. And you got to figure out how to make that work for you. And you trade stocks.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how did you get into trading stocks? Because that is very interesting and smart as a comedian to do.
Yeah. So when I first moved to California, I started doing Lyft, but I had a raggedy car, and I couldn't go up hills, in certain areas. I went to go pick this lady up, and I told her, like, yo, I can't go higher. Can you mind if I just back all the way down?
Could you get out now, please? This is an odd request.
I started with trading and losing a lot of money, like over 50,000. And
you had 50,000 to lose? My
no,
God.
really,
My God. You just put that in there nonchalant.
And that's what's so crazy is when I say 50,000,
yeah,
I heard 100,000, 120,000. And then you hear other people, you be like,
when people lose millions, because they got millions to lose.
That's what I'm saying. Where y'all get that money from?
Where you was that from Lyft? Because I have a car that won't roll backwards.
I do work at the post office.
I do have a job. You got a government job.
Yeah, I made
in the DMV.
money.
That's called a good government job.
Amen.
But it's like here in California, everything costs, so I had to make money. I started learning about trading, day trading, option trading, and it's like the quickest way to make money. And it's different ways you could play it. Like, you could play it simple, you could go in depth with it. And I think everybody should know it. I think all Black people should know it. I think all comedians should know it. If you're in the entertainment industry where you have to rely on booking jobs, like, you have to know that. You can wake up in the morning, trade for an hour, and be done. You can make your whole check.
Did you teach yourself? You taught you self-taught?
No. I started on YouTube, but I mean, I met all type of people. Like, the first person I spoke to who was teaching a class, he was 14 years old from Nigeria.
No.
Wow.
I mean, the Nigerians would do it every time.
I mean,
I love them.
We were so impressed. Like, what the fuck? And we like, how did you learn this? He said, YouTube, guys.
Yeah. They do this. Did you ever almost get caught into like the Forex scam? Ashley.
I played.
Did they
Forex.
ever get you?
The money was too slow. I didn't like it. It was like
it's a pyramid scheme.
This takes too long. I said it's slow. I didn't. Option trading is my shit. Like, I'm talking about. It's like unreal.
Listen,
like.
this is why they doing the cocktail hour, free show tickets for life. She's like, I'm going around, I'm talking to people. That's because you're full. You're not hungry. You're not thirsty.
No.
You have leisurely time. But you're smart.
I just don't spend a lot of money, but I also, man, you really have to learn option trading. Please learn that, everybody.
Trading.
Like, learn that. Like, you can start with as little as $200. I mean, I've been doubling money all week.
Oh, really? I'll give you about $5. I need you to make that 25 next week.
You could. I'm telling you.
You live down the street. I'm gonna come over and you're gonna teach me how to flip all this money I'm gonna make.
But I've paid for mentors. I spent thousands of dollars on mentors to learn strategies and learn risk management and learn the psychology of how to be calm and everything.
That's wise. I mean, you gotta have a little bit of something going on, especially with entertainment. I feel like you become the master of your destiny and you can do your art the way you wanted to if you're not worried about how you're going to eat.
Right.
You put yourself in a very precarious situation where you're dependent on somebody else to feed you.
Yeah.
And you'll do some things that you never thought you would if you're, between doing this thing or getting your bills paid. But when you have options, you can turn things down.
For sure.
And so for you, Shauna, I listen to your comedy. I love your comedy. I feel like it's similar to mine in a way where it's like you have that like church experience, you know, you have like, you'll touch a little bit about God, but it's never preachy, never churchy. It's sprinkled in there. And if you hear it, you hear it. And if you get it, you get it. It's just, you dabble in and you go on. Was there ever a time where you consider yourself like a Christian comedian? Are you a clean comedian? Because you don't do a whole bunch of cussing in your comedy either. It's just very like true to who you are and your personality. And so it's like, how do you navigate like your faith and comedy?
I think for me, just always being myself. Like I consider myself a Christian, but because I've always dabbled in both like Christian and secular world, like growing up, like I went to public school and then right after public school, I went to my after school care, which was at a church. So it was always a balance. Even on weekends when I was with my dad, he never went to church. He listened to rap music. So like I was still able to keep up with my friends and stuff like that. I was never left behind as far as like culture wise. And when it came to comedy, I feel like I cuss here and there, not as often.
Same, girl.
Because I like in my head,
favorite cuss
I want to
word.
be able to send my mama clips.
Oh yeah.
Just recently my mom found out I cuss and I still don't like it just because like she never cussed around me growing up. So I try to live in her example. Yeah, even when she was mad, never cussed. Like yelling at me instead of shut that up, she'd be like, shut that noise up. You know, and it still has the same
Saved,
effect.
woman of God.
Yeah, and I feel like my church experience too, I suffer like church hurt. Like I feel like anybody else. You know, but I feel like I still had more positive stories about my church. Like it was a cool church. Like we still had fun events and I have lifelong friends from it. But ultimately, I just think it's a funny experience growing up. Like when I tell the story about my mom and how she made me go to sexual education classes because she knew I needed that type of education, but she will always make it church-like. And she's like, how baby's made? I was like, oh, the man's penis goes in the woman's vagina. The husband's penis goes in the wife's vagina. We're not even going to think like that, you know? So I think always just remembering God and what I do has been the best part about doing comedy. And because I feel like everybody has a similar experience, it hasn't been hard. Yeah, so it's been fun.
As somebody who kind of sort of like grew up in the church, I feel like, you do a great job of touching on that like secular, but then, you know, like church experience. Cause it's like, that's really what the Ratchet Christian is. It's like, Lord, like, I know what you desire for me, but I know the other side too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you get it just right. With you growing up in the church, what would you say your relationship with God is like now?
Now, I'd say I talk to him more on a personal level compared to just relying on church to be that connector. I don't have a church home. My church sermons come from Cali Worship on Sunday mornings, you know, when I can. And then I'm always praying every day, every morning. Honestly, I feel like every second.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always talking to God, whether it's just full on prayer or just a second. I'm not preachy, but I will always give the advice that I feel best, you know, when I feel like it is needed, whether somebody asks me or not, or if I feel like they need a word, I'll always give it. And I don't feel like I'm overly preachy with it. I think it's just like, because I've been through similar traumas, I feel like I'm always able to relate. So I think me and God are tight. I just don't have a church home.
Yeah. But you have a relationship with him, and that's the whole point of all of this. You know what I mean? To not just be in religion and feel like, you know God because you go to church on Sundays. You can go to church 24 hours and not know God, you know, but it's about how you walk with him in your day-to-day life. And I think you do that well. And so for you, Ashley, what's your relationship with God like now?
What up, though, God? You know, it's like, you know, I grew up Jehovah's Witness and
love them. Shout out to them.
J-Dub.
I love their little magazines.
Yeah.
The Watchtower. Yeah, what? Christians
Yeah.
need to catch up.
And it's like, Daddy, come on, nigga. Like, bro, like every day, like, you know, that shit really wore me out. And I was just like, when I get older, I'm not doing this. I really made up my mind. So, like, right now, you know, me and God, I feel like he really, like, give me everything I asked for. Like, everything I asked for. So I really gotta be careful what I ask for because he really fuck
He
with
here.
me.
Yeah.
So, and I don't attend church or the Kingdom Hall now. You know, it's really just talking to him on a personal level. But I feel like I could do better also. You know, connect with him more. And because I didn't grow up in a church, I'm wondering like if I'm missing another aspect of something that I didn't, you know, was taught growing up in Kingdom Hall.
Try it. I would say try it. I went to Kingdom Hall one time. So I used to study with the Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because I've always been, into religion, trying to figure it out. I'm from a Muslim family, my whole family's Muslim, grew up in foster care with a black family who were Christian. So I ended up being Christian. But then I had a phase where I was like, well, maybe, the story is that I end up going back to Islam and I, read the Quran, tried the Quran. I'm like, this ain't sticking. I grew up in church, so went back to like the Bible and all that stuff. And then in high school, there was this guy that I used to date, and him and I broke up, and me and his ex before me, whatever, her mama came to my house. She was my ex's ex. Her mom was one of the Jehovah's Witnesses that came and knocking at your door. And so because I knew that was her mom, I was like, oh, me and your daughter used to date the same boy. She was like, oh, really? You should come and study with us sometimes. And she was just really, really nice. Her name was Tamika. She was from Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
Changed her whole life. Like, she told me her whole story. And I'm like, I see myself in this lady, And I also I feel like what I really liked about her is like she felt like a mother figure at a time where I needed one, somebody who I could talk to about boys. And so her and the lady, before my mom, I would come home I was probably like maybe in my junior year in college. I would come home after school. They would come to the house, have a Bible study with me. My mom found out I was letting the Jehovah's Witnesses in continually. She said, stop letting these people in this house. And the lady said, don't worry about it. We'll meet you at the mall, sweetheart. I started studying with them at the mall. Okay. And from there, she invited me over to her house for dinner. Okay. And so her daughter just came home one day. Here I am having Bible study with your mom. What's up? And I was with your man. Like, I just infiltrated that girl's whole life. Not on purpose. Not on purpose, but the mom used to always, bring me the watchtowers, and I looked forward to them, and they had like a family, they had like a home. And so she kind of felt like a mom to me. And so the one time that I was like, okay, I'm finally ready to go to the Kingdom Hall, she couldn't go with me. So her daughter and her husband took me. Okay. And the one thing that I remember from the Kingdom Hall was like, there's no windows in here. Yeah. Where are the windows? Yeah, where are the I know that this is a building. There were no windows in that. No. Wait, like, so is that common?
Have service is like, no.
I feel like they had windows painted, like fake ones, like painted on.
Not where you sitting down having service, no windows. And the music is so trash.
It freaked me out. And for me, I kind of felt like, a majority of it was just kind of like, at least the service that I was in, it was just like bad-mouthing Christians. And so it was just like not what I thought my Jehovah's Witness experience would be. And so the next day she called me. She was like, so how was it? I was like, I didn't like it. She was like, I knew I should have went with you. And so in that moment, I was like, I think this went a little further. I should have took it, And I left for college. I took my stack of like watchtowers with me, and I had them on my desk when I first moved into my dorm room. And I remember when I first met my roommate, she was like this white girl and her parents. I had my watchtowers on my study desk. And so I walk in and Dad's like, so you're a Jehovah's Witness? I said, no, I just like their magazines. Yeah. And so that was my experience with them. It was pleasant. Yeah. I like took I saw the whole fruition of what happens if you let them in. Yeah. And it blessed me up until a certain point. And then I eventually, went back to Christianity and the Lord. But I've always been looking for God, and I feel like God has always been looking for me. I don't think I can ever remember a time in my life where God wasn't there. Yeah. Like there's just always been a presence. I've never felt in a room and felt like somebody else wasn't in there with me. And sometimes it's like a bad presence, but I always know that, oh, God is also in that room with me. Even if I wanted to, I don't think I could. I mean, it's scriptural. I couldn't get out of God's presence. Even when I want to be like, I want to do harass stuff with my friends. Like I want to smoke. I want to drink. I want to pop my shit. I want to do all of that. I could do it for a certain time until I felt like, oh, I'm so lonely because God feels like so far away. Yeah. So sometimes I used to wish I could do life without him, but now I've just surrendered as like, I love you, you love me. And so let's just figure it out. And this is a part of that story, and y'all are a part of that story. I really, really appreciate y'all taking the time out of your very busy schedules to come to the Ratchet Christian to talk to us, me, my audience, about God, about your careers, about who you are as people, as about our journeys as comedians. Is there any last words that y'all want to say before we wrap up really quick?
I just want to say thank you for having me, of course.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having this lovely guest.
Of course.
Yeah, you guys, my name is Ashley Mathaw. Make
Yeah,
sure you
yeah.
check me out on Instagram at Young Tender, and if you're ever in LA, hit up the Backyard Comedy Battle.
You won't regret it.
Thank you.
Yes, doubling down on thanking you for having me on this lovely platform.
You're so
Love to see
welcome.
what you're doing and the great things that you have to come.
Hey.
You could also follow me at the Shauna Monet, yes, on TikTok and Instagram. And I have a show coming up,
Mhm.
Fix Your Face. We are back, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Well, guys, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have been subscribing, so thank you very much. And you've been liking too, but you haven't been leaving comments. Like, leave me comments. I want to argue with y'all. I want to go back and forth. You know, I want to
Wanna
tell
be-
you that you're wrong and you're the problem. But I also want to tell you that you're right. And thank you for taking time to watch this. I love what we're building together. I love the guests that we get to have. I love y'all meeting people in my life that I love and like. And so just make sure that you subscribe and come back and follow these two wonderful ladies. And I'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo! Great job, guys.
Yeah.
High fives. Air high fives.